curviest monitor I've ever seen.
How many have you seen?
I don't know. Just I usually see the average ones. It's pretty cool.
So, 17th August 2019. It's a Saturday, 7:46 p.m. What brings you to Latvia? What are your impressions?
Okay, so I actually...
Oh, by the way, let me give a disclaimer, because sometimes people complain. Screw off, people. I'll be eating.
Oh, they don't like the...
Yes, I mean,
the
there are sometimes some people who just literally are sort of triggered by the sounds of somebody eating. And then they comment on my videos, stop eating, or... I don't care. Just it seems to me to be normal while people talk to also eat if they want to eat.
I think so too. Yeah, and also isn't like ASMR, that stuff trending right now? So
that's what I was actually thinking of doing. Maybe just tagging the episodes where I'm eating as ASMR. I don't know.
Could get you more views, maybe. Yeah.
Might be.
But
so,
okay. So I should
back to that.
Okay, yeah. So this summer, I just ended up doing a summer exchange thing in Copenhagen. It wasn't really my top choice. I kind of wanted like Southeast Asia or like Eastern Europe, but there weren't that many opportunities at my school for the summer.
Wait a second, you are disappointed that you went to Copenhagen? That's a first.
Yeah, slightly. I don't know, because Western Europe doesn't interest me that much.
You spoiled kid from Canada.
No. Like, I prefer, like maybe, let's say crustier countries. I'm not really sure what kind of word I'm looking for right now.
That's one way to put it.
But so I wanted like Russia or, like somewhere in the...
I think you wanted Russia.
Oh, yeah. Until I go there. And then I'm like, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I was in Copenhagen. Really expensive. So I had to live like a hobo.
For Canadian expensive?
Yeah, because I actually looked it up before going there. I think, on Numbeo.com where you do like... Numbeo.com, like...
Numbeo?
Yeah.
So what's that?
Sorry?
What's that?
Oh, pretty much it like compares cost of living between countries. And it actually told me that I pretty much needed the exact same amount of money to maintain the average standard of living in Copenhagen as, in Toronto. But Copenhagen people have, their purchasing power is like 22% higher than Torontonians or something. So, we...
Well, if the purchasing power is higher, then it means it's good. It's good, right?
It's good for Copenhagen people.
Oh, because they earn more.
Yeah, they earn more, but everything's about just as expensive. But yeah, it was cool. Like I met some pretty cool people, and then it ended. My parents came to visit me. We did Scandinavia road trip, and then I kind of thought, well, I'm in Europe, and with like low budget airlines and everything, Ryanair had a flight from Copenhagen to Kaunas for only $23, which is ridiculously cheap. It's like the cost of a meal, so I just decided to take it because...
See, that's the Canadian of you speaking. $23 for a meal?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Right?
Yeah, but I never eat those priced meals in Canada. I try to stay low budget, Yeah. But decided to take it because Baltic states are also ex-Soviet states, which I think makes the history a lot more interesting for me personally.
All right.
And so I just took it, and I'll be going from here to... I went from Lithuania to here, and then I'll be in Estonia, and then I'll be flying home after. And it's...
Directly to Canada?
No, to New York, because it's cheaper, because it's more of a major destination, I guess.
It's weird that you are concerned about expenses. I thought Canadians are rich. Honestly, I did.
Really?
Yeah. I thought there are only, 30 million Canadians in the world?
Yeah.
Right? So, Canada has such a big economy that it's pretty good spread out for everybody. Seemed like that way.
Yeah, I guess, I don't
the
really
last
know.
Canadian who was here, He's traveling for. No, I don't. I'm not sure whether or not he's traveling first class, but he's definitely going to the business lounges in all of the airports he's in. He has some cheddar.
What? Wait, I actually checked out some of yours, and like, I was trying to spot the Canadian ones. Was it?
I think it was
the French
third,
Canadian one.
No, I think it was the third or fourth episode.
Oh.
Like 80 episodes ago.
God, he must be like a well-established Canadian, because I'm like...
He was a cool dude. He's
Yeah?
a musician.
Yeah? What?
He was...
He's in Business Lounge?
Yeah, he's...
Okay.
I remember he telling me that he basically sold off several assets. He had some assets, sold them off, invested them in some short-term money lending operations. I like those collective lending platforms. I don't remember the names of them. And so yeah, he says he makes a fair amount of passive income. He's just traveling the world with his girlfriend.
Wow, okay.
Staying in Airbnbs, right? But yeah, when I see his posts on Facebook, yeah, business lounge in whatever airport, business lounge in this, and then just sitting in some nice chairs.
I can only dream to live like him. I don't know, because for me, like I'm 20, so student. And my parents are also just, they earn, okay, like I'd say we're lower middle class for Toronto.
Lower middle class.
Yeah.
That's probably upper middle class for the rest of the world, right? In Canada?
Well, I don't know, in terms of if you just take wages only, I guess. But considering Toronto's pretty expensive,
is it?
I don't, yeah.
The $23 meal, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not so cheap. Yeah. And also, I don't know, in Canada, like post-secondary education's not free, and generally it's like business programs, engineering programs, computer science programs. For bachelors are extra expensive, just because I think maybe job prospects are better, or like it takes more to recruit profs. So mine is about $20,000 a year. So I do want to travel.
That's too much, right?
Yeah.
In general,
yeah,
you could Google a lot of that thing that you learn, right?
Yeah, definitely, because I don't particularly enjoy what I'm learning anyway. So.
What are you learning?
Finance and economics.
That's a total stereotype for Asians, right?
Yes, which is why I'm disappointed in myself for going into it. Yeah.
Because your parents wanted it?
Yeah, they actually wanted me to be an accountant, which I refused to ever do.
What an ambition.
Oh, I don't know. I thought that's too much, like that's too following the dead Asian girl stereotype. It's like selling your soul, kind of.
Well, no, it's sort of like you. What's the word? You are giving yourself up for the family, sort of, right?
I don't know. My parents definitely, they're Asian in some ways and actually quite liberal in others. I don't think they would have minded if I went into something else, but they...
So why didn't you?
Because I actually don't know what else I would do, really, because I'm a pretty lazy person, I would say. And, I don't want to... Yeah, I don't know, like I wouldn't go into, like pre-med things because I don't want to go through that much school afterwards. And, I think I would have liked to like study Russian or something, like do a language, but yeah, that's, I don't know. I think I was pretty concerned about employability, and everyone was, scaring me in high school with, if you go into this, you'll be starving on the street. So if you go into this, you're not going to get anything. So I just kind of like by default, I didn't care.
Here's an impression for you about Latvia. For us, an expensive tuition per year would be probably $4,000. That's already so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, there goes your 20,000. You could actually learn finance in Europe for cheaper, right? If you go to Finland, it's probably really it's actually free.
For foreigners as well.
I think so.
Really, like, but we don't pay taxes like international, because where I'm from, like international students pay 3 times the tuition.
Really?
Yeah, because I guess it's a good way for the university to rake in revenue, and also they don't pay taxes, and like our universities are public still. So.
I'm not sure, but I think because that's the reason why people go to Finland, Germany, because their education is free.
Oh, what? How do they fund that?
Look, the North American type of education is just too bloated. People are sort of parasiting off of students, right, and putting those financial lives in jeopardy. Because I think a medical student has like 6-figure debt by the time when they finish med school.
It's probably true, actually.
So yeah, I mean, when it comes to America or North America, many things are great. Finance is not one of them.
Yeah.
That parasitic capitalism.
Yeah.
Have you been to France?
Have I been to France?
Yeah.
I only went to Paris last year, but yeah. Wait, why?
That counts, right?
It seems like a very just touristy thing to do, you know, like hit Paris for a few days and that's all. Yeah. But that's
because I think out of the European countries, I think the French are still the ones who like to at least complain about the inequality of people.
Oh.
It seems to me during the globalization, people have really left the topic mostly alone, right, and just start grabbing what they can. But I think French people still do sort of care. About the inequality.
Really?
I think that's the impression I've got.
Okay.
I'm not really objective when it comes to those things, but yeah, that's the impression I've got. Yeah, because I think it's just sort of a lifestyle for them. They don't want to be too what would be the word, wasteful. They drive smaller cars, have less waste. These things, and yet still have a lot of riots.
That's very interesting. I haven't kept up too much with.
The Paris riots were, and the Green West this year. Yeah, well, at least people in France like to riot. I'm not sure how much of them are real French people. Because France has a lot of immigrants.
Yeah.
Canada doesn't, right? Canada is pretty strict.
Strict with riots and protests.
With immigrants, right?
Oh, with immigrants? Oh, not at all. I think they're extremely lax.
Because my relative wanted to get from Latvia to Canada. He went there, but he didn't get a residence permit. So they
really Canada.
They had to go back.
I think that's very interesting. I thought it was the United States and a lot of Western European countries known for having very closed borders.
I think even Americans cannot get in with if they have a ticket, like a parking ticket or something.
Oh.
I think Canada, if you just go from America into Canada, yes, but if you have some type of record, I think they're pretty strict.
Oh, I would not know about that, but it seems to me that Canada is the go-to destination for immigrants. Like, I think I checked net immigration or immigration for countries in Canada and Australia had one of the highest in the world because they just take everyone. I don't know. That's what it seems to me.
I think they just have a lot of space.
Yeah, there's a lot of space, but I don't know how much habitable space there is because I think 80% of our population resides within 200 kilometers of the American border.
If they can make Las Vegas inside of the desert, I'm guessing you can make any place on the world habitable.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah.
Because it's just a matter of time when, look, you are sort of from China. Chinese getting too much.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit too much. So they start exporting Chinese people, right?
It's an interesting way of putting it, yeah.
But they do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, for the past 10 years, and many times in the political debates in Latvia, one of the most addressed concerns, Chinese will come to Latvia and then we'll get sort of, all take our jobs sort of way.
That's very funny.
Because they did start coming, but they were mostly golden visa buyers. You know the concept?
No, I don't really know.
A golden visa is sort of a sneaky way for a country to raise revenue by allowing foreign citizens to buy property or some some assets in their country, and then get a residence permit because of that.
Okay, that's smart.
I think
I guess.
I don't know. It's just if you are in some deep doo-doo, it's just some way of attracting some money.
I guess.
But not a long-term strategy, because they figured out, oh damn, those Chinese are really coming in, right? And then they just raised the stakes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Toronto, I guess, you know how Chinese people are, like, let's say on average getting extremely wealthy, at least in the developed parts. And yeah, actually the housing prices in Toronto and Vancouver are absolutely ridiculous now, because over the past few years, Chinese investors have been coming in and just buying up so much property and not living in the houses, obviously, and then selling them off at higher prices. And it's just been, you know, hiking everything up by so much that locals can't afford things properly.
Canada now has legal weed, right?
Yes, with Trudeau, yeah.
I guess that might be related to that, right?
With...
Because the weed economy.
The weed economy,
I think British Columbia was prosperous just because of the weed.
I did not know that, but maybe I haven't read about anything like that. But
it was the sort of really, really famous BC Bud.
BC Bud?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, the sort of ganja from British Columbia. And yeah, I think it was a major part of their illegal economy. And so when it got legal, they just exploded everywhere in Canada. Canada had a really, really big weed economy.
Huh.
Yeah. And so now American states are legalizing, sort of legalizing.
Yeah, some of them are. Right, yeah.
And yeah, it's just a weird time, I guess.
That's very interesting. I didn't know about the bud. What is it?
BC
Weed
Bud.
BC Bud?
Yeah.
Okay, I will look into that after this then. Yeah.
Well, it depends on how much you are interested in weed. There's no real concern for you in any way other than that.
Yeah. That's true. Or just to get to know more about Canada, I suppose.
How much Canada? Oh wait, I guess we left the topic of what's your impression of Latvia, right?
Oh yeah. I don't know. Actually, before I was in Latvia, I was in Lithuania, right? And I ran into some people at my hostels. And one girl who had been there told me that she really did not like it, and she said that it felt dead. So that's kind of what I was expecting. I was like,
Fun fact.
Yeah?
Lithuania has one of the highest suicide rates in the world.
Oh, really? Why, generally speaking?
To be honest, I don't know. But I think they also have one of the highest alcoholism rates. I don't know why. It seems weird. Because I always thought that countries who have a fair amount of dairy consumption are pretty nice and comfortable. Because milk makes you happier.
Wait, really? Like,
yeah, of course.
like scientifically?
I mean, like it has hormones. It has nutrients.
Okay.
I mean, it has organism building material, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Because I always thought...
Well, take a look at Scandinavia, right?
Right.
Some of the happiest people in the world.
But I thought that was because of, like, the social welfare system and things like that.
Yeah, but see, that's the egg and the chicken sort of way. If they consume a lot of dairy, it might get them a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more work. What would be the industrious? So yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting theory. Yeah. Okay. But I did not know that about Lithuania. Actually, that's pretty tragic, I guess, because generally you hear about like Japan or Korea or India having the highest suicide rates because of overworking and stress and stuff like that. Like I think
Japan, I've heard.
Yeah.
But Korea?
Oh yeah, Korea is really bad. I think first or second in the world, last I checked, at least. Yeah.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Highest suicide rates.
Oh, you use Yahoo?
Yeah.
Oh. Is that common with Europeans?
No.
Or Latvians?
No. Oh. I just like the way they make those things appear afterwards. But I do use Google as well. So, What?
Oh, whoops.
Suicides per 100,000 people. Guyana, Lesotho, Russia,
what?
Lithuania, Suriname, Ivory Coast, Kazakhstan.
Wow.
So where? South Korea 10th.
I'm completely off then.
Oh, look at that. Latvia 16th.
Wow. Wait.
Yeah.
What? Actually, Russia is.
Yeah, it's just because of Russia.
Good.
I think Putin
Oh.
might be one of the reasons. You know, he kills those journalists and suicides them. Right.
Okay. What?
Well, it's weird that
Oh, yeah.
it's weird that Belgium is in it with all the nice chocolate and waffles.
Yeah, which should make them happier.
Japan, well, interesting, 30th. Suicides by 100,000 people. Yeah, this seems a little bit weird, but yeah, South America might be understandable.
Yeah. Where?
So where's Sweden? 50th one, 51st.
That's still not too down the list, actually.
Well, I mean, how many countries are there? 200.
Yeah.
So
It's already in the top.
yeah, but I mean, look at it this way. It's probably the bottom of the list. What might be some really small country with I don't know 1,000 people in it. Let's just see. Barbados. Sure, why not?
It's all like tropical countries. That's funny. Or like from the Dominican.
Well, but this seems a little bit weird. I wouldn't probably want to live in any of those countries.
Yeah, Syria's all the way down. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like it's a bit hard
it's a
to
little
document as
it's a
well.
little bit yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, 2019. So
Oh, yeah,
among,
Lithuania,
for example, in
keeps going
2000,
up.
among the top 5 are the Eastern European countries: Lithuania, Russia, Guyana, South Korea, Belarus, Suriname, Kazakhstan. So yeah, they're just
It's about right.
sort of
Corresponds with the Wikipedia.
yeah. So depressing. This is just depressing.
Yeah, it is. South Korea is quite dark as well. And
But I think they just don't have enough statistics for all the countries.
mm-hmm.
These might be just the best statistically observable countries.
that is here.
But yeah,
Fair.
that's the weird thing about Lithuania. And alcoholism. I should see alcoholism.
I'm like alcoholism or just alcohol consumption by per capita.
Good question. Let's first try alcoholism countries. List of countries by alcohol consumption. Statistics by country for alcoholism. Highest alcoholism rate. Because if you just take alcohol consumption, then just all the beer drinking people
Yeah.
will get in
There'd
first.
be a lot of European countries
Yeah.
on that.
This is a weird webpage. Heaviest drinking in the world. Belarus,
Ooh.
Lithuania third,
Wow.
Moldova, Russian Federation, Romania. Yeah, seems legit.
That sounds about
Well,
right.
I don't know about Belarus. Belarus people are quite nice.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly nice.
I heard that they're essentially just Russians, no?
You would like to think that, yeah, but I think generally speaking, they sort of are nationalistic, and think of themselves as separate from Russia. But yeah, Moldova, depressing. Lithuania, I don't know why. Russian, depressing. Romania, depressing. Yeah, even though Romania is in the European Union, Romania and what's the other? What's the neighboring country? Romania and
Bulgaria?
Bulgaria, exactly. Yeah, just a lot of crime, a lot of poverty.
I didn't
So,
know it was that bad. It's quite depressing.
not as in Canada, eh?
Canada, Toronto. If you go downtown, there's you'll I think it's like a bit more than what you see around Riga. But I was actually surprised by the like size of Riga and how touristy it is.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like actually. And I actually like in terms of impressions of Latvia, I really like Riga actually. Like Vilnius, I thought was quite cute, and I already thought I quite liked that. But then came here, and I've always preferred like big cities, and Riga is like the most populous city of like within all the 3 Baltic states, right?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, it has like the old town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but you know they have all the very nice European architecture, and they have like big city vibes, which I quite like actually.
What do you consider a big city vibe?
Big city vibes?
Because last episode, the girl from Russia told us, but you don't even have metros.
Oh, you don't?
No. Well, we have just trains.
Oh, you have
just regular
like
trains.
Trams or trains?
Trains.
Oh.
The old Soviet style trains still.
Ah, okay. That's pretty cool, I think.
I actually also think that way. I think it's nice looking retro
Me too.
Trains.
Yeah,
and yet they plan to spend almost like 10% of the GDP just to get some new trains. Seems ridiculous. Get some Wi-Fi going or something.
It's not true. Transportation's super political. I don't know. For me, like, I don't really think the transportation system plays that much into how I, like, whether I see a city as, like, big city or anything. Because New York City, which I really love, like, their transportation system is, I'm pretty sure, last I remember, not that, like, high-tech and sleek and, you know, new. It's still also like a train system and not so much like a metro. From what I remember. Obviously, I, you know, can't recall too clearly because I went there like 10 years ago with my parents. But yeah, like I also like the retro style, like trams here and stuff like that. And it's more just maybe how wide the streets are and how it's kind of bustling. There's like a lot more traffic than in Vilnius. It's just, I just keep comparing to Vilnius because that's where I was last.
Sure.
And yeah, buildings seem higher, you know, there's a lot more.
I like that style. That's why I would like New York as well, because they have compact and tall buildings near, and so it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it does too. Yeah. And everything's pretty concentrated here. I think it's not like super sparse. Like everything, there's just always something everywhere, at least when I was walking around today. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool, and I feel like it's somewhere I wouldn't get bored, like if I were to live here, at least. But that's just my impression. I don't know exactly.
You would be still, if you would imagine yourself in 10 years, you would be still living in Toronto?
I would hope not. I don't particularly like Canada.
What?
Yeah, I really wanted to get out for university, but...
but Canada made you what you are.
Oh, and I don't like what I am, so no thank you, Canada.
You mean as a... Come on. You are playing into the nice Canadian role almost perfectly. So
How?
That's because you are really, really friendly, polite, right? That's really Canadian.
I think
Canadians are probably, I always say, I think probably the Netherlands is probably the best country in the world. I mean, Canadians might be the best people in the world.
No, that's just a stereotype. Canadians are absolutely cold, figuratively and literally. I think, growing up there. That's what I think. Yeah.
Cold in what sense? Because here's the thing. I've been to, for instance, Germany, and they thought of themselves impolite, right? And I was like, you are impolite? So what am I? Right? So it's just, there's no real objective criticism from the people who are criticizing themselves.
That is true. And I also never liked Canada, like ever since I was young, so maybe I'm biased in thinking Canadians are cold or unenjoyable. But I think Americans are very friendly. I don't know, like people love to shit on America about everything, but I really prefer it over Canada in most ways.
Really?
Yeah, except for maybe not having health care, but you know.
But when Trump came into power, I think they crashed the Canadian Immigration Agency's site, right?
Yeah. Or at least there was like a huge boom in Google searches for how to immigrate to Canada and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know. For me, who is in I don't know, like it's still everyone I know, everyone who's extremely successful or smart or makes it always goes off to the States, like all my friends in Canada.
Because they are dumb, right? Well,
No.
they're dumber than Canadians, so you can just exploit them, right?
No, they're all extremely smart and capable people. It's because everything is
In America?
in America,
In the United States?
like people being.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Like I
Really?
mean,
Because the stereotype is the dumb American.
yeah, but that's
It's always a
because
stereotype.
yeah, but
the,
I mean,
the ignorant, uninformed American who doesn't know anything, who cannot do anything, who's sort of lazy and fat. That's the American way of life.
that's Canada too. It's just our population's 1/10 of theirs. So
You
of
have
course,
hockey.
numerically,
You have hockey. I think you have tall, big people in Canada.
we also have a lot of fat people. I think our obesity rate, we're in terms of obesity rate rank, we're only like 4 or 5 like 2, 3, 4, 5 places behind the U.S. and Mexico. Yeah.
Difficult to say because the Arabs have taken over.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
What?
I think Kuwait is the fattest country in the world.
Really? Last
Yeah.
time I remember, it was like one of the islands, like Fiji or something, and then it's usually
How
like
would you-
Mexico and United States, and then Canada is like 6th or 7th.
Most overweight country. Top fattest countries in the world. United States 10,
It's only 10th now.
9 Mexico, 8
Oh.
Qatar, 7 South Africa, 6 United Arab Emirates,
Right.
5 Jordan, 4 Egypt, Belize, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait.
Ah, I had no idea. I guess it's not that It's not that North American. It's not
Well,
that North
because
America's gotten better. It's the rest of the world's gotten worse.
Because what North America does best is to export their poison to all of the world. And so yeah, they brought all those things, all those food chains to
Yeah.
those newly rich sort of countries,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, they're getting so big.
Well,
I mean, it's a sort of a funny way. You get wealthy, and then you basically die, right?
Yeah.
Because they are just becoming. They're sort of like the victims of their own success.
yeah, that happens quite a bit actually. But I mean, I think you just have to know how to control yourself, because I mean, Korea and Japan are also great economies, and I think South Korea achieved its success in the recent decades, and I'm sure they have a fair amount of like fast food chains there, but I think it's in the culture to just.
I think America is the best
you know.
country in the world because it has probably the most freedoms in the world.
Yeah, that's
Right.
fair. Yeah.
No other country has so lax gun laws, right? Free speech, all of those things. But yeah, it didn't come easy. I mean, they really
Painful.
made some revolutions and made some killings to get it going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see Canada wasn't even in the top 10.
But I'm sure it's in the top 20. I would say.
Yeah, I guess
If the
in
United
the
States is
top-
10th.
I would imagine in the top 20 you could find probably most Western countries.
Yeah, but I mean, you only have like one
But in
Western
the top
country.
10, yeah, in the top
Yeah.
10, it gets difficult.
Yeah. I mean, the top 10 surprises you sometimes. Often it's like small obscure countries. Like I remember a few years ago when I checked, it was like a bunch of the Pacific Islands, like Fiji and stuff.
I think you mean
That might be outdated though.
I think you mean the countries with the most diabetes.
Is that what it is?
I think so. So, most diabetes countries with the highest rates of diabetes: Saudi Arabia, Solomon Islands, Guam,
Oh.
Mauritius, French Polynesia, Kiribati, New Caledonia, Nauru, Tuvalu, Marshall Islands.
Yeah, you're right. Wait, how do you just know that?
I'm a very informed person, I would say.
All right.
But I'm just consuming a lot of information on a daily basis. So even though I'm not looking for that information, it sometimes somewhere pops up, and yeah, it's just interesting. Well, sort of that moment.
Like Lithuania having one of the highest suicide rates in the world, kind of thing. It's
Yes,
like a random fact
yes.
that comes up somewhere.
Yeah, because sometimes it's literally some, I don't know, HBO documentary or a Vice piece, and then they just mention something. Oh, really?
That's pretty cool. Oh. Do you go on Reddit a lot then?
I've heard of Reddit, but I'm not really familiar with it at all. I just know it's a forum type of webpage.
Yeah. It's like
I'm wondering why is it so popular? Because what I understand, it's quite popular.
Yeah. I mean, I use it, and I'm a lurker, but I think it might be so popular just because it has a lot of sub communities. So it's like a good way to find communities that cater towards your interests and have them all compiled in one page as well.
What's the purpose? To have just a chat room, or?
Not. It's like an information sharing kind of forum. It could be like useless, cute things, or like world news, or like legal advice pages, or anything like that. And I guess, it's like.
Still, it's different. I mean, if I would have some questions relating to a topic, I would just Google and YouTube.
Yeah. But I guess like you can ask questions on Reddit, and maybe they have like specific communities dedicated to such topics.
Oh, I guess in Europe they also use Ask FM.
Still? I haven't seen anything from that site in years, actually.
Me neither, but I haven't really followed them. I just know that it turned out that the owner was from Latvia.
Really?
I think he sold
the founder?
I think he sold it for 200 million euros or something like that.
Really? I did not know that. Because I searched up famous Latvians and I don't think he turned up, but that's cool.
Well, I think he was just a Russian dude.
Well,
sort of. It might be a Latvian citizen, but you never know whether or not they even speak Latvian.
Ah, okay.
Really speak Latvian, I mean.
Do you speak Russian as well as Latvian? And because your door sign has some Russian on it, so I was but that's probably for your guests.
Yeah, because those people rarely do speak English.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying I think you want to go to Russia, but yeah, I mean, other than that, it's just a big contrast from Canada, for sure.
That's what I'm looking for, though. But maybe I'm just saying that because I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll never know until I go. It's like you've been so comfy that you want to be uncomfortable. Sounds like it.
Maybe, but what I don't like about Canada isn't like I know it's cushy and that's why like it's a safe haven and stuff,
yeah, it's
right?
probably great.
Yeah, but it's not really why I dislike it. It's more I don't like ever since I was young, I never liked the mentality and culture of Canada. So
but see, that's what I mean. You are the product of Canada, right? You are quite nice as a person. So that's because of Canada, not because of your genetics.
No, if you've been that's parenting.
Parenting in Canada.
But no, Chinese parenting.
No, Chinese parenting is totally way off, probably.
No.
Chinese parenting in China is probably way off. How else would you explain those public defecations happening in China?
That's because China has too many people, and obviously you'll have more fucked up people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the mentality is sort of attached to it. It's like going to Brazil and wondering why people are more willing to get laid or get shot. Right? Because of the favelas, all of those poverty-stricken regions and those weird social dynamics. Whereas in Canada, everybody's in probably paradise.
Yeah, well.
Does Canada really have poor people? Like poor people?
Yeah.
Because I remember I once had a US dude here, and we were talking about average salaries, and he explained to me, well, if you are, I think he was mentioning $30,000 a year. if you are below that, you are considered or on the poverty line.
Yeah, that sounds
And I
about
told
right.
him, dude, if I would have 30,000 per year, I would be top, middle, or even upper class in Latvia.
Yeah, but
And so
things are
we
cheaper here, no?
and so we compared the expenses.
Oh,
And
okay.
at that time, it was gasoline was, I think, 3 times more expensive in Latvia than in America.
Really?
Yeah, we
Oh.
compared because they had their prices in gallons, we in liters. But yeah, we figured it out, and it was definitely more than twice in
Oh,
Latvia. It's more expensive.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
and I think Americans are fairly, well, wasteful in general when it comes to the consumption. When it comes to the efficiency of heating buildings,
Yeah.
all of those things. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
sort of
I mean,
weird.
Canadians are also very wasteful in
Sort
general.
of, yes.
Yeah.
That was
Just
sort
North
of heard.
Americans.
Yeah. But that's
The consumption
again
rates.
that's the wealth spoiling you.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Which is why, like, I don't
It's
think
not
my.
disgusting. I mean,
I think it's
don't
quite
get me wrong.
disgusting.
If you don't know anything anyway else, it's just normal.
No, I mean, just I don't think ignorance is like a good excuse. You know.
Well, yeah, the pursuit of knowledge would be a noble one, for
Yeah.
even for wealthy people.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think. I mean, European countries are also like many European countries are quite wealthy, and I don't. I don't know, but just my general impression is that they don't seem to be as wasteful and consumerist trash as North America is.
I think, relatively speaking, America is more wealthy. Because it's weird.
But there's like huge wealth disparity, so I don't know. Like maybe average.
It's weird, yeah, because the wealth gets you different things in different regions. So, yeah, to be sort of middle class in America, I think gets you more than being middle class in, let's say, Germany.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You can get a lot of more stuff because it's more cheap. It has more GMOs or whatever in it. So it's a lot of cheaper. You can consume more. That's what I'm getting sort of it. But yeah, when people, if you ask me, wealth is good, but the perception and the sense of proportionality is somehow crucial. Because, like you said, the real estate expenses in Toronto getting sky high.
Yeah.
It's because people have too much money and don't have any clue how to use it. So they just buy up the things that are already existing. So if more money goes to the same things get sort of more expensive. But it doesn't benefit the majority.
No, of course not.
Yeah. And I think that's why, if I'm not mistaken, I think France has, or at least Germany definitely has recently put up rent barriers, sort of the maximum rent you could ask.
Like price ceilings or something like that.
Yes,
something
yes.
like that, right? Yeah.
But I think they sort of work formally but not effectively. Because developers can just sort of try to maneuver around them.
You'll just have more like black markets, I guess, or like shady things,
and
like
also,
shady deals
and
taking
also,
place.
And also, put more expenses on other items, sort of.
Yeah. And like enforcing all of that and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So greediness bad, but the North American way of life good. If you ask me.
The North American way of life?
Yes.
Is good?
In general, I think Canadians and Americans in general are quite friendly people. Not really too concerned about other countries for sure, but
they're ignorant.
Quite concerned about spreading their influence. Because Canada is one strategic country for Latvia as well.
Is it?
Mm.
In what way?
Well, I guess nowadays you could say militaristically, because Canada leads the what's it called? Well, it leads the Allied brigade in Latvia. It means that every 6 months, I think 600 Canadians rotate. Canadian soldiers rotate.
Like coming in and out. Yeah.
And they are living in the biggest base in the country. So yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well,
that's very interesting.
Sort of, but then again, it's probably related to just some economic interest as well, because Canada, a couple of years ago, was starting to get interested in Latvian natural resources.
Oh, okay.
And so they started initiating different things directly with the top of government. It's not like they went to the agencies or anything. They just went top to the government, and then just we need to do this. We need to do that for the investors, right? Canadian investors. So all right. So I think Canada has Latvia in its pocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really do believe that, because it's never been the way that Latvia can force its will on bigger countries, right? But yeah, it seems to me that Canadians are probably corrupting some Latvian politicians to get things done.
Really? So Canada's not as nice and clean as it seems?
Well, don't get me wrong. I would say all politics is basically just a charade to mask some animalistic impulses, sort of. Mm-hmm. Right? It's not a rocket science, right? Mm-hmm. Why politicians act in a way because they or their sort of closed group of interests benefit. It's not like there are only a few probably exceptions. Mm-hmm. I don't know about Trump. He might be, but I'm not sure.
What are Latvians' general impressions of Trump, actually?
I don't know if most Latvians even consider him at all, because it's not like we follow American news. It's of course something that gets told in the news sometimes or some publications. But yeah, we are more concerned with ourselves. We are fairly vain and selfish.
Oh no, that's understandable. Okay, that's interesting how like it's not like his every tweet or his every speech makes it as a huge news article here, because that's how it is in Canada, you know.
In Canada?
Yeah. Why? Like I don't know, at least a lot of the articles that I get in my feed or whatever are all concerned, like many of them are concerned.
I think Donald
with
Trump, because I only recently got the phone. Before that I had a 9-year-old phone, so Instagram didn't work, Twitter didn't work on it, and when I got that phone and installed Twitter, I think Donald Trump was the first person I followed. Either it came up, or I just thought of him because I know, all right, yeah, Donald Trump uses Twitter, and then I sort of recognized, probably nobody else uses Twitter anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit of an old person thing.
It's like a dying medium.
Yeah,
seems like it. Facebook is still in use, but for older people, and the new generation basically just uses Instagram, I guess.
Yeah, which I can't get used to that, because I pretty much only use Facebook. I don't quite like Instagram culture, I guess. If you know what I mean. It's very it's just because it seems like all the influencers are concentrated there, and influencers are just monetized narcissists.
It's great for marketing, but I think
so.
I think marketing will save the world.
Really?
Yeah, because it's sort of a double-edged sword in some ways, right? Because it means that somebody might try to manipulate somebody else, but in general, when it comes to commercial interests, if some people are willing to put in the time and resources to figure myself out better than I have done myself, hey, go ahead, do that. Know before I even know what I want. That would be great.
That's fair. They're making what you didn't know you needed more accessible and available to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that would be probably the best. If they just know, oh, by the way, we have this on sale and we know you like it. Oh, yeah, sure I do. Right? But now I'll still have to go to the grocery, and oh, look at this, half the price.
Ah, yeah. But I think Instagram isn't just like a lot of the marketing that's done isn't for
Well,
like practical things that
It's
that
a lot of
that,
it's a
you know,
lot of
people want.
boobs and ass.
Yeah.
But I think that is what moves products,
Okay.
or at least gets the money exchanging hands.
Yeah, that's what gets money moving, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the products being promoted are also very like it's very just
That's
too
why
many
I don't.
cosmetics, too much, you
That's
know.
why I don't like
Yeah.
China and India.
China and India.
Yeah, because they are quite strict on nudity,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is just silly. I mean, the countries who shag the most are sort of concerned about nudity. Weird.
Do they shag the most? Maybe India still.
Well,
I
if
think China's
somehow
not so much.
somehow they managed to be the most populated countries in the world,
Okay, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, either that or just the least use of rubbers in the world, right? Because you never know. Maybe it's just for them. Like, do I buy a bowl of rice today, or do I get a Durex? No, I'll take the rice. Might be that. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, maybe they shaked a lot back then, but like China's population pyramid is like this now. So, you know.
Is it though?
It should be, but you know, maybe it's just the one-child policy, and like what it's like a two-child policy thing now.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Because I don't know if they had some real repercussions if you had more than two.
There were, I'm pretty sure. Like I have a friend who also immigrated the same time as, like the same age as me, but apparently when she was like 1 or 2, mom got pregnant in China, and you know she had to abort it. Because you know if you do have the kid, at least this is what I heard from my parents. Like my mom had a government job, like she worked in a university when we were in China, and she said that you know job would be gone,
Yeah, there are
difficult.
some there's some
yeah.
sanctions, but
Yeah.
in general, I guess people could be fine.
If you had the money and connections, I think you could definitely
Yeah.
like find a way to not suffer from that. Yeah.
But in a collectivist society, I guess it's not the norm.
Maybe. Yeah.
But there was probably a smart move for your parents to come to Canada.
I don't know. I think we were better off in China, but you know there are
What?
like many. Oh yeah. Like my family was much better off in China.
I don't know anything about your family, but I highly doubt that.
Really? Why?
Again, it's the Canada, the land of the human rights, and China, the land of the not so much human rights.
Right, but we're not really. The thing is, I think there are huge misconceptions about China in like the day-to-day life of normal Han people.
When I first thought we were going to meet, I thought if this girl's from China,
yeah,
it might not be worth it.
Ooh.
Then you spoke like a Canadian. I thought, oh yeah, all right, good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you wait.
I'm totally racist against Chinese in the sense.
Okay, that's not uncommon, I guess.
Or culturalist, maybe I should go, because you are sort of Chinese as an ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
But you're definitely not Chinese culture. I'm giving you that. I mean, I've had people from China, for instance, here sitting and getting stressed because they didn't want to address some topics.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't know. I mean, the thing is, I'm
of
not...
course, because you're Canadian.
Yeah, but I'm not so informed on China in general.
But I'm not talking about really facts and figures. I'm speaking of... So what's your own mind? What's your own opinion? What's on your mind?
Oh.
And they didn't want to express it. They had it. They told me I could do it off air. Mm-hmm. Right? So I said, no, dude, that's silly. That's just silly. Come on. Nobody's watching this. Do you really believe that in a country with 1.5 billion people now somehow they just figured out my little show or on the internet? Come on, man.
Okay, that's.
But it was his concern.
That's interesting. But there's definitely a lot to criticize about China. But like when I say that we were better off there, is that, you know, my parents had much nicer jobs. They didn't have to work as long hours as they do in Canada. They could have retired much earlier.
So what do your parents do, or what did they do in
Back
Canada?
in China, my dad had his own business, like a pharmaceutical or like research kind of thing. He did, because he did, I think, molecular biology in university, and my mom was like a dentist in a university, and you know, like pretty good income, pretty stable. And, you know, the main thing for my mom is that all of her family, like all of our family is there. So I think she feels pretty lonely here. And her mom was really sick. And, you know, she couldn't really take care of her after we immigrated to Canada, obviously. So it's like not just about, like the money and maybe human rights and all that. It's also just like personal things that, you know, they would have been better off there. And, you know, I think maybe they had more of a life there. Because, you know, after immigrating, my mom, it was a big hassle to settle down. And now that I think about it, we probably were pretty not well off when I was younger, like when we just immigrated. Like my mom had to go back to school in Canada while she was pregnant with my sister. So that was probably not very comfortable and quite stressful for her. And then, you know...
But they immigrated because of you, right?
Probably, yeah. So
smart move.
There's guilt there now, but
your parents are smart cookies.
No, but I don't know if it was worth it for them. You know.
For them, no. I mean,
No.
that's the Asian way of life. To what's the word I'm looking for? To sort of give everything up for your family, for your children.
I don't know. It's just sacrifices.
To sacrifice everything, yes. To sacrifice your personal well-being for your children.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's not like I'm doing anything extraordinary in Canada either. And
Being Canadian, that's extraordinary enough.
Not at all. I mean, I do like the passport, because if I grew up in China, I'd have to get so many visas to do the traveling I'm doing right now. But, you know, I don't know, like I'm mediocre in Canada, unfortunately, because I have bad work ethic.
What does that mean?
Like being mediocre?
No, bad work ethic. What does that entail for you? Do you work 10 hours per week or something like that?
No, bad work ethic, just like no self-discipline, if you know what I mean. Like even though I'd want to, it's like no...
Well, you are Canadian. Congratulations.
So I'm a lazy fuck. What?
Congratulations, you're Canadian. You are a Western woman.
That is not necessarily good. That's what I don't like about Canada. People are, generally speaking, very like delusional and easily satisfied with themselves and proud of their accomplishments when their accomplishments are nothing special.
But it has to be that way. You cannot overwork your mind, your body like they do in many other countries who are concerned, oh yeah, we need to do more, export more, produce more. No, stop for a moment. You have only 24 hours a day. You'll die pretty soon, trust me, right? So why not enjoy yourselves? You have to find a balance, that's for sure, but you don't want to be a total mess just hanging around like I think many south or countries in the south do.
In the south of Europe?
Have you heard of the stereotype that if the climate is nice, the people tend to be more lazy because they don't have
the Mediterranean?
Because they don't have to really provide for shelter for the winter or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm not really biased against ethnicities, but I'm definitely biased against cultures. I think there are cultures who are better, and cultures who are just way off.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so what I've seen so far is that yes, Asians do a lot of sacrifice. They're willing to do a lot of sacrifices. At least those Asians who are willing to emigrate and find a better life. And when it comes to sort of American or North American born Asians, I think they have won the lottery.
Really?
Yes, because they are ethnically still a part of the biggest community in the world, Asians, right? But yet all their culture is from the local region in North America. So it's the best of both worlds almost.
I don't think being of Asian descent is very beneficial at all, is it? Like in the States or in
But I guess
like
it depends.
affirmative action
But
fucks
if
you
you're
over,
a
you don't
woman, but
really
if you're
get
a woman, I think it's pretty beneficial. Asian women, Oriental women are pretty popular,
popular in
just in general as women.
I don't know. For me, I think the Asianness doesn't help because what I care about is like job prospects and like academic admissions and stuff like that, and then affirmative action in the States.
It doesn't sound that you are really interested in it. If you say you are quite lazy, it doesn't sound like you would be interested in that sort of field for the rest of your life.
But just because I'm I'm not saying I want to go into academia. I'm saying like in terms of schools that I can get into, like just because I'm lazy and I'm aware of my terrible work ethic doesn't mean that I wouldn't like to have certain things or achieve certain things, if you know what I mean.
But you also have the option to seek alternative ways to getting those things. If you're just
like
speaking about
ways?
means to an end, there are probably many means to the same end.
I don't know. I think I'm more talking about like affirmative action and getting into like prestigious American schools.
Do you
And
want to
that
get
they
into?
I would have loved to.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's the academic experience is different, you know, like sure a portion.
I think it's just some old-fashioned belief.
With like school name and stuff.
I think I'm not. I haven't met any prestigious school graduates, but I would be willing to compare them to myself and probably just feel comfortable either way.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because there's nothing that you wouldn't be able to Google anymore.
Oh yeah.
It's not like you could.
Yeah.
There's a chance that you might have some knowledge prior to me acquiring that knowledge for a certain topic, but that doesn't count as being. It's not worth the hundred thousands of whatever they pay for the tuition.
Yeah, but you know, like a lot of the really good private institutions have huge endowments, and lots of students can just get there on need-based financial aid. Like it's expensive, but if you need the money, many of the institutions can provide it.
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
that's always the case.
Yeah, so I just think going to like a school like that, you know, sure everything can be Googled, and sure you can just go to like a normal school at home that costs less, and you could excel still as a student if you put enough work.
Because what you want is ambitious and motivated people.
Yeah, because it's like the student body, which I'm sure there's still a piece of shits in there, but like generally speaking, you know, you have like the top 0.1% of students in America around you, and the faculty is amazing, and the opportunities that could be offered are also different.
So,
and also just having the name on your resume.
That's what I'm saying.
The
That's
job opportunities.
That's the old-fashioned way of thinking, right? That your resume plays a role. That your contacts play a role.
But do they not? I think realistically they do.
Well, they probably are playing a role, but it changes. I mean, the 21st century brings a lot of changes, also not just technologically, but also socially. So I think it definitely will change in the near future. Because I think academics are pretty dumb people in general.
I mean, a lot of academia is bullshit. Yeah, I've heard.
I think there is a point where there's no real. There's no real potential for you to excel intellectually. You have to sort of transform what you already know into something that you already could be able to do or perform or do something with it. To have just knowledge for knowledge's sake is just wasted time. And I think a lot of academics are just wasted lives.
Interesting.
Well, it seems to me that way. I'm not saying they're bad people in general, but I'm saying they are either too scared of life, or because of course there are sometimes things you might be so interested in that academia is almost the only way to actually pursue that interest.
Mm-hmm.
But I think most of them are just educated job safety seekers.
That's fair. That's not an unfair thing to say.
And that's
Yeah.
what I would like to see, actually, that the uncertainty becoming more of a more of a motivator for people to actually don't sit on their ass, right? It's just, all right, well, maybe we can do it better today, or maybe tomorrow, right? Even a small nudge, even just a small step forward, right? But yeah, those, when you see somebody getting complacent, you know it's over for them.
That's most Canadians for you. Complacency is huge there.
But what do you mean with complacency? Because if you just know what you need to do to get enough for you to be comfortable, and then the rest of your time you just spend enjoying yourselves, entertaining yourself, it's not really complacent, is it?
So how does that make the professor situation different? Because, you know, they're like, that's enough for them to be happy. That's fine, no?
Yeah, but see, well, the difference would be that the professor might have the option to actually influence the next generation in a major way. And yet what he chooses is to probably just regurgitate the same curriculum and basically just to keep the status quo, right? But
Okay.
because
So they've taken on like
there's no real Socrates anymore, right? Who would be willing to die for his own beliefs, even though it might not be popular, right? So it's more or less like, all right, so what should I do to not get into trouble? What should I do to keep my job? What should I do, or what should I not do to achieve all those things? But it's not a question. So how could I make those young people better than me, right? Because he should be actually a servant to the young people, right?
Okay, like spreading his knowledge in a more effective way.
If he's able to.
Yeah.
If he's able, because some people might be good researchers and excel academically, but they might be terrible teachers or mentors. So I'm thinking that it's just, well, when it comes to the complacency part, I think I would agree definitely that probably most of the academic staff in Canada is complacent, but they are generally complacent people. It's just in all of the countries almost. It's never any radicals going into universities to teach, right? But other than that, I think Canadians might be pretty dope.
Really?
Yes. I mean,
pretty dope.
Wealthy, fairly educated, and sort of fun-loving.
Educated statistically.
But maybe I'm just guessing because of Drake.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you have a good impression of Canada because of Drake. Why is Drake so popular? I never got it.
I don't know. Because
it's just because he's Canadian. Right?
I liked some of his music early on, but the rest is I don't understand the music nowadays.
Yeah.
But again, that's marketing. It's not really related to the quality of the music. It's more related to the marketing, how you position yourself. So I like the fact that it's working. But yeah, I'm not saying he's the next Beatles or anything. It's marketing. So if you would ask me, your best choice would be to go into marketing. Forget about the financials. Just marketing and you'll be fine.
But I think doing marketing in school is just learning bullshit for 4 years, actually.
Depends on what you learn, but also what you are willing to try, because I think marketing offers you a lot of options to try. It doesn't really mean that you couldn't also acquire the knowledge in those fields you are currently in. But it might mean that you won't get the diploma for those fields, but you actually know them, so you actually can cater to their needs better than they can cater to themselves, because they didn't actually learn how to sort of look at themselves from the outside objectively. It's sort of, I think, it used to be the case that after Freud sort of advertising became prominent, and especially in America. But I think nowadays marketing will just, again, I think it will save the world. All bad problems could be probably erased with marketing, better marketing. So why are the Israelis and Palestinians fighting? No, not enough marketing. Because marketing would be also the promotion of certain ideals,
beliefs, right? Yeah.
And so it's not really related to some type of factory-made product. It's more related to something that needs to be heard, something that might get people's attention. And marketing is, because you know that Palestinians use smartphones, you know that Israelis use smartphones. So why are they still fighting with each other? Because they are all silly beliefs from the past. And so you need to wash their brains.
Okay.
Right? Right? But that's true, right? There's no real sort of efficient logic for their dilemma.
Yeah, that's true. Because
it's only based
there's no
on
objective.
Yeah, based on old, like really old beliefs. So that's what you're really going after. Yeah, just some real person saying something in 1000 whatever. So people base their whole lives of that. Silly. But then I don't know who invented the smartphone, but let's say Zuckerberg invented Facebook. Right, so all those things, you can share ideas and see more nudity. Oh yeah, no need to fight, right? So I think naked women will end all wars.
Oh, okay.
With better marketing.
It's I don't know, just the way you phrased that, really. It's very funny. Okay.
Because what gets, for instance, people aggressive? That they don't get what they would like to get in a primitive way, right? So
I have never thought of things that way. This is pretty cool. Yeah.
It's in Canada probably not that important to see something as related to marketing, because you have all the industries already in place. I would imagine it's fairly easy to find something that you know you want.
Yeah.
But then again, most of the world doesn't live that way, right? But you can start with smartphones, internet, marketing, and get some naked chicks.
Yeah, naked chicks which save the world. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it's because we have everything is so easily accessible in North America. That's why we're consumerist trash, which I dislike.
But what do you mean? What do you mean with consumerist trash? You like comfort, right? You like living comfortably, in a sense, right? You wouldn't like to, let's say, if you would arrive here, you would ask you, so where's the toilet? Oh, you need to go 100 meters outside to the small little what's the
shed?
The shed, and take this lamp with you, right? Because it has no electricity.
Oh, well, that's too extreme. I'm not.
But it is not extreme. I mean, a fair amount of people in the world are still living that way.
Right.
I mean, Indians. I remember seeing a documentary. I think it was a documentary about, I think in Mumbai specifically, and they just poop in the ocean, grab the water, clean their butt, and go on their way. And they take the shot from the seashore. It's just a lot of folks just squatting in the water, wiping their ass with water and just going their way. And then somebody in the YouTube comments wrote, UN Supernation 2020?
Oh shit, yeah, because it's one of them. Okay.
It's not. People are quite primitive in many parts of the world.
Yeah, it's just because I guess the living situations, standards aren't so great.
Yeah, that's why I say you won the lottery by being Chinese ethnically and North American culturally. You won the lottery.
I still don't
You
think
won
being
the
Chinese
you won the
ethnically
human
is great.
you won the human genome world lottery.
If you say so, if you say so. But I don't think the Chinese, not that I dislike my roots
Yeah.
or anything. It's just I don't think being Chinese helps very much.
Well, I'm not specifically saying in Chinese, but you are. Look, if I look at you, I don't think Chinese. I say, oh, Asian. You might be
generally Asian.
Yeah, you might be from wherever, right? There are what 3 billion Asians. Don't get me wrong, but probably look all alike.
Fair, there's less genetic diversity, I guess, in terms of
Because honestly,
hair color and eyes.
if you would have had said you are Japanese, I would have believed you. I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
That's fair.
Yeah, and so that's why I say you won the lottery, because you are smarter than the typical Asian because you come from the West, and yet you look like them, so they will never suspect anything.
But that doesn't really help in the West, right? Because I'm in the West, and I don't think being Chinese helps
it depends.
in the West.
I think it depends on whether or not you are more interested in one field or another field. I think in the West you would be more constricted to certain fields where either Asians excel or where they just like Asian women. Because that's a niche.
It's very, very creepy niche, but okay.
In what way? I mean, there are niches for everything in life.
Okay, yeah, I guess. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a preference.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And when you speak about, for instance, marketing in general, you could be easily a face on some marketing poster. Easily. Because white people could relate to you, right? Asian, of course. And even the black folks wouldn't mind. Yeah, that's what I mean. But if you put a black lady on, I'm looking, right?
Really?
Of course.
But you would be able to relate to an Asian face?
Yes, because you're white. That's what I mean. I'm not really concerned about ethnicity. I'm related more to the either nature or nurture aspect of a human, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you, as a nature, you have the ethnicity that's clearly distinguishable from, let's say, a European one, right? It's clearly distinguishable. But you have the nurture from the European one. So, as a human being, you are better because you combine both worlds in a better combination.
Never thought of things that way. Then I guess a European who has immigrated to
You asked me
the
why
West.
Drake is so popular. Maybe because his dad is black and his mother is Jewish.
No, so he can relate to a wider audience. Maybe, and he's from Canada.
You never know. Maybe he's some Zionist on the low.
Maybe. Wait, so wouldn't that make a European who has immigrated to the West the ultimate person?
A European who's immigrated to the West?
Yeah.
No, because Europe and America culturally would be pretty similar in many aspects. They are more synchronized. I mean, Europe and America are the first world, right? And Asia is not.
So what would be different between, like, let's say a South American who's immigrated to the West and an Asian who's immigrated to the West?
What would be different?
Yeah.
The South American would bang more.
Would bang more, okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they are horny, those people.
Speaking from personal experience?
Yes. They are different. I mean, I'm telling you. But I'm not speaking about their genes. I'm speaking about the culture. Spanish people, Spanish cultures, Portuguese-speaking cultures, Italian-speaking cultures. They are all about food and sex. It's nothing else. They are sort of tragic if you look at it from the outside perspective, because there's more to life than that. But yeah, they are just so animalistic. They're so primal. They're really primal. I'm not bullshitting. I'm telling you as I see it. They are just primal. It's about macho culture. It's about sort of posing. It's about honor, right? Whatever that is. So yeah, it's not about I'll sacrifice myself so my children can go to a better school, or yeah, I want to learn new things. It's not about that. It's about whether or not I can impose my will on some neighbor.
Okay.
Well, I mean that's what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that, you know, Brazil is what 60 million people or something like that. So I'm not saying 60 million people are just one type of. But I'm saying generally speaking, stereotypically speaking, yes, those cultures, they are about food and getting laid.
That's my general impression as well.
Just so. the 20% that makes the 80%, right? So yeah, I would go with that. Mm-hmm. Whereas Asians, I'm not so sure about their horniness, so I'm not sure what would be the combination there. But it would be different than the South Americans.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, Japan has one of the biggest porn industries, but I think I don't know if they have the biggest. I've heard that they have some. Enough. I've heard that they have some just really specific weird things that I've heard. But it's the same with Germany. But I think Japanese porn is like a pretty big, just like genre, right?
Yeah, but again, it's just a genre of porn because it's different. Same as German porn is different. Same as, I'm not sure whether or not there's more countries. Probably all of those European countries have some porn industries, but I've heard that yes, Japanese porn is somewhat unique, and German porn might be unique, but it's more related to piss and scat.
Okay.
I don't know why scat, but yeah, that's because that's where they make the jokes, right? And I think in South Park. Right, when Cartman finds out his mom was in a German porno movie.
I haven't seen that.
But you know South Park.
I know of South Park, but I've never watched it.
I think you could. I'm not sure whether or not. Let's find out if I play. If the audio can be heard. Look at that! It shows me. Our episode is live now.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I remember that we are live now. So Cartman finds out mother porn. Cartman's mom in a porno. So whether or not my video will get flagged.
We can use my dad's computer to call all the kids together. Wait, before we put a message out, do a search on the word clitoris. Oh, okay. Found 8 million pages with the word clitoris. Wow! I'll just try the first one. You must be 18 to enter this website. Okay. Welcome to German Sick Fetish Video. If you are under 18, do not... Okay.
Du hast Scheiße gang.
Dude, it's a lady getting pooed on. Whoa, is it Cartman's mom? Oh, very funny. Hey, it is Cartman's mom.
Es mein Scheiße.
Alrighty then. Ah, son of a bitch! Get out of here, Ike. You're too young for this stuff.
Oh, no.
What's she doing now?
Es in der Scheiße.
Okie dokie.
I didn't know Germans were into that stuff, but okay.
I don't think they are. I mean, into piss, they are definitely into piss.
Really? Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that everybody
but I've never heard of that stereotype even.
Yeah, piss, yeah, that's for sure, yeah. Well, I think it's more or less related to...
Drinking too much beer?
Maybe that, but also maybe to just being naturalistic.
Okay.
Because Italians like anal, and and all those southern cultures like anal. They like it in the ass. Sure.
Why?
It's just some weird regional thing, I guess.
Okay, I've never heard of any of this, but okay, yeah.
Oh yeah. And so, but the scat thing, I'm not really sure about that. I just think they just exaggerated it into comedic effect. Yeah. But I think Brazilians like scat, because you've heard of the video, what's it called? 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Yeah, I remember coming across that when I was young. Yeah, that's a Brazilian video.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I think they have a lot more of those. Well, look,
Hopefully I don't.
it's sort of weird, right? Because yes, there are some people who like the taste of shit. Why that is, I don't know. Maybe some infection with some parasites. Because you never know, right? It might be literally some virus taking over the brain or something like that. You never know. Or maybe some people's doodle really tastes good. You know, because I would imagine if some person only eats some nice juicy fruit all their life, how bad couldn't the poop be, right?
You should do an experiment.
No,
No.
I'm not really. I'm
Into
not really
eating your own
yeah
shit.
so that interested in finding out. But yeah, I mean, it might be several reasons why there are people who like to film themselves pooping in other people's faces, mouths, or whatever. See?
Is this
And
gonna
then-
be allowed on YouTube?
What? Just speaking about scat movies, sure.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not-
fine.
But I'm not sure about the clip from South Park.
Oh, okay.
Because if their algorithms are quite good, they should be able to detect the soundbite. They should be able to detect this soundbite does not belong here. It should be the way. Because I remember I had some either video or something like that where it got flagged because it had a clip, an audio clip from something else. But I refused to give in because it wasn't an audio clip that was related to any property rights. It was sort of a Creative Commons type of clip. But yeah, somebody else who had used that same clip in his own work I don't know if it happens manually or automatically, but yeah, it got flagged for mine.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a balance.
You never know, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All
So yeah,
right.
that's what I'm saying. Marketing might be the one field you would prosper in.
We'll see.
Also as a human, because you probably like psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone does. Like, human psyche
No.
is always interesting, no?
No.
Seems to be like a hobby knowledge kind of thing for a lot of people.
For a lot of women.
Okay.
For those people who like to read horoscopes and stuff. Yes, but well, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually more than 80% of the shopping is done by women in the West.
Oh, I wouldn't know those stats.
More than 80% of the tabloids are read by women.
Probably.
And I think more than 80% of the horoscopes are read by women.
Probably. Yeah.
And so yeah, those are the same people who are more interested in psychology. Or so they think. Right? Because I always wonder why fill in the blank. Right? But when it comes to marketing, it's just brutal honesty. So did it work or did it not work? If it didn't, so what could work? And just ever constantly just feedback loops, improving. And so yeah, I think you are sort of on camera and off camera capable, because off camera you come from the West, so you understand sort of the Western culture, the Western tradition, and the Western mindset. On camera you are really universal.
Interesting.
Well, I'm trying to explain what I see, right? When it comes to because I'm not a real expert on marketing in general, but still, right? I would be interested if you would ask me where I would see myself, then probably something related to marketing, simply because it's just everything is marketing, right?
That is true now.
The whole of life is marketing.
Yeah. That is true. It's a pretty much like trying to figure out every human's like how to play with humans, I guess. No?
Well, to their own benefit.
Yeah.
Ethical marketing, you can call it that.
Ethical marketing. Okay.
Because it's really a big difference. I mean, people who have been interested in advertising and selling products have improved our lives in so many ways we don't even recognize it. It's just because somebody had the urge to get a commission from some sale because then something happened, something got invented, something got done, just because of that fact.
Wait, so what's the line between ethical and unethical marketing?
Unethical marketing would be probably using falsified information.
Okay, so just like fraudulent like misrepresentation.
Yeah, misleading, sort of. Sure, but other than that, I think most marketing would be ethical. If you really do put the facts out and you really do have the as much as possible proven product or service. It's just that you need to find the person who's also looking for that. So marketing is the way to actually find those persons and say, here's the thing you're looking for.
Okay. So as long as you cater properly to a specific market.
Yeah, because you don't want to waste your energy on somebody that might. If I have a skincare product, I want somebody seeing that skincare product who's actually able to purchase it. Right? It's not like I would like to see some poor African lady seeing the marketing. If she's not in a million years going to buy it, she's not going to be able to buy it. So that's. And then the next step for a marketing guy would be to figure out the way, well, how could I actually improve their life so they are able to buy my products?
So why are you a legal advisor?
In general, I would say just because it was more convenient at that time, because the school was right across the park, and before that I had finished technical school, which means I got a profession as an accountant early on. So, but I spent 4 years in that technical school compared to 3 years for the people who stayed in my previous school to continue secondary school, I guess.
Like gymnasium?
Sort of, yeah. 3 years and then before university, right? So they had 3 years, I had 4 years. So to compensate, I chose the one field that had, compared to the rest of the university curriculums that had 4 years of studies, I chose the one who got 3. That was law. So I caught up.
So that you didn't
after those 3 years
lose out, right? In time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's sort of, well, it definitely has benefited in me for me different ways. Before that, I mean, I was a learned accountant. I was also working in accountancy. I saw what is the technical aspect of a business, sort of, but I also saw that it's not a job that a human should do. Because it's so unfulfilling.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have it. Of course, it's necessary, but it's like up to the point where they invent the needed computer to avoid any human being just spending their time putting in some numbers from a receipt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I did that, and once I got a degree for law, just many different things are available because legal people are needed in almost every field. So then I just went around basically job shopping, and on some private level, I'm more concerned. All right, how would I be able to increase profitability when it comes to passive income? The main concern for me is to establish my knowledge, my skills, to actually be able to move around. If I don't want a job, I don't have to do that job, right? I can literally just quit my job the next day, do something else if I see the potential somewhere else. So just to be able to seize the moment when it hits you, right? Because I think it was Seneca's quote who said that success is when opportunity meets preparation.
Right. I have heard something along those lines before, definitely.
And so the one component, the opportunity, you might not be really in control of, but the preparation part, all yours. The amount of effort you put in is totally up to you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I read a lot of books. That's why I keep myself informed. So that's why I try to experiment with different things, because this whole thing grew out of my want to just make better quality audio articles for my publications.
Your publications.
Yeah.
What are?
Well, I was after I won competition. The prize was sort of some I think some ferry tickets or something like that, and the option to publicize the paper I had submitted.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that was my first publication, and at that point I was already constantly listening to audiobooks. So I figured, yeah, I could make a audio version of my article. That would be quite original.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fairly interesting. So I did that, but I did it with my old smartphone.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I thought, yeah, the quality is pretty good, right? But then I think after the third or fourth, I bought this. Oh no, I was in music production courses, so that's why I bought this one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured, oh, maybe I could just use this for also for my publication audio articles. And once I did that, oh yeah, the first ones are terrible compared to that. You can hear it, but yeah, it's totally you cannot really compare these two, right? It's a studio microphone, and that one was just a small microphone on the smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in this one, yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, never mind. So this one, yeah.
Is that a phone compartment in your?
This is a Asus pad phone, so it comes together. This is the phone. This is the tablet.
Uh-huh.
It's meant to be. If you, let's say your battery is getting low, you can put it in. It starts charging, but also you can use it as a tablet. Right,
That's pretty sick.
and if you like to sort of be more convenient, you can attach it here, and then this charges these,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just write on the keyboard.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. And you don't use it anymore? It's
No,
outdated?
I mean it's definitely out of fashion, and technically also 10 years. Oh no, well not 10 years, but I think I bought it in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really just old, and they don't produce them anymore.
Okay.
Well, because people are good enough with those.
Yeah, there's
And
no need.
And I'm also. I mean, once I switched to this, it's not as convenient, but for the weight and the potential, it's definitely a good trade-off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a bad product. It's just that this is good enough
Yeah,
for most people.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
simple enough. Oh, okay.
And so when I did my first audio publication, it was literally just holding the phone and reading my publication on the computer, and then taking the MP3 and uploading it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta start somewhere. And like it was probably good for the time, right? Honestly.
Well, it was good for me. I didn't feel
Yeah.
bad about it. I mean,
Yeah.
you could listen to it and understand what I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
but it's just because I didn't know anything about audio,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, when you compare it to a audio article where I used the studio microphone, it's just totally different. And so yeah, that's why I started using the microphone for the publications, and then and then I wanted to do not just audio articles for my written articles, but I also wanted to do video commentary for my articles.
Oh, okay.
So I got one webcam.
Mm-hmm.
And out of those became three. These are two. One is in that room. I think that's it. Oh, and several cameras in general, because I didn't know what I should do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But since I'm lazy, I'm looking for more of the convenient, because a webcam, you just plug it into the computer, and it's saving directly to the computer.
Mm-hmm.
With a handheld camcorder and or a sports camera, you have to record it, then to either take out the memory card or transfer the files via cable.
Which is a hassle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Now I'm mostly using just webcams for everything. And the podcast, yeah. I think, yeah, the podcast, I started doing that because I listened to a fair amount of podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I still do listen to audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's just piling on, sort of. And
That
so,
is-
yeah, now my concern is, all right, how do I establish the technical base? Because the technical aspects are many times really, at least for me, difficult. I really, it's almost like all the episodes are a little bit different because I tried or needed to do something different every time with just with the technicalities.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but my plan is to, or my thought is to, once I'm proficient, once I know everything working because everything's in place, then I can concern myself, all right, so what would be a possible content option? Maybe I should, let's say I have you on, maybe we should play a game for
No.
15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Latvia against Canada or
Okay,
whatever, right?
yeah.
Maybe I should feed you something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Try Latvian food,
Mm-hmm.
right? But yeah, I'm not there yet,
Uh-huh.
nor am I really running towards it. But it's just all right. So once this is like the base, what comes next? So what comes next? What comes next? What could I do more? What could I improve upon?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just think it's admirable how you've kept up, like you actually pursue your interests, if you know what I mean, and not waste your time away. It's cool.
Well, it's a sort of evil need, because my main concern, because people I know have asked me why I do these, and they ask me, oh, do you are you interested in doing them? I said, no, I'm not interested in doing them. Why would I? I mean, it's a hassle to upload something. It's a hassle to edit something, to render something. It's just a hassle. But my concern is, will I be able to avoid the digital economy? Probably not. Probably, even if I might not want it, I might be forced to live in a digital economy. So if that's the case, I might as well be as proficient as I can be,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe make some money out of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's just the long-term logic behind it.
Okay.
To
So you're
just
trying to keep up.
understand how things work, and if I wouldn't want or need to do some content, I could just do it, because those are skills. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that, and actually, what I figured out, it's something that attracts at least specific kind of people, because even in academia, they sort of were praising me for being innovative, even though it's not. I don't think it's really innovative, but it's definitely synthesizing some new forms of content. Because what I did was, when I finished my PhD, I recorded, of course, the audio file, which was just a hassle because it's 4.5 hours just reading my text. And then I did a video of me, not of me reading it, but a video of scrolling my whole thesis, and with the audio on top. So it's just, you can see the screenshot of the thesis, and you hear me speaking the words, right? And once it gets to the bottom of the page just scrolls down, so you can follow the words. Yeah, took me quite a while, but yeah, I think it's safe to say I'm the first in the world to do that. So yeah, haven't got any prizes for it, right? But yeah, that's just something that adds also, that piles up also.
Ah. Wait, what did you do your studies in, if you have your PhD?
Well, in legal
In your-
sciences still.
Oh, in legal sciences.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. My thesis was about the financial sector of the European Union.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do your master's, or did you go straight from bachelor's to PhD?
That's not possible.
Oh, that's a thing in America, in North America, though. No? Oh,
I don't know.
it's not here though.
No, we do well. It would be probably translated as a master's, but it's a magister.
Oh, I'm not too familiar. Okay.
But still, I mean, I did 3 years of the bachelor, 2 years for the master, and then I think in total it was some 4.5 years for the PhD.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So it's been a while.
Yeah, you've done a lot of school.
But yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I could have just done my publications and all those things just on a regular way, but I knew nobody would really notice them. If I put them out in a sort of weird way on the internet, it definitely gets more attention. It's not a big, but still a bigger number than those people who just publish their paper that what was published in some, let's say, journal, and the journal came out once, and that's it. Nobody's even capable of accessing that paper anymore. Maybe in a database where you might need to pay to just get into it. I just have my own uploading website, put it all there, put the links everywhere, and yeah, if you like, you can see everything. Pretty neat.
Mom must be proud.
I'm not sure what she knows it.
Oh, no?
No, because it's not really something I would be talking about with my family. They're just more concerned. So how's it going? Did you finish?
Okay, just the basics.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Why would they be concerned? I mean, it's something that it's original. It's original in that context, right? Because doing a video is not original by itself, but yeah, in that context, I think really I might be the first in the world to do that. So yeah, what comes next, I don't know. But I would like to actually establish some marketing schemes in Asia.
In Asia?
Yeah, because there are a lot of people. If they understand English, there should be some purchasing power in there. Yeah, I was thinking about India. I was always thinking about India.
Really?
Because they speak English. Yeah, well, there are many sides of the India, right? I was more concerned about the sort of middle-aged people who speak English, who are sort of on YouTube, and those type of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, in general, I'm not sure whether or not there's a real strategy to it. It's just, we'll see what happens. Yeah. Anyway, final thoughts?
Final thoughts? Oh, it's almost over?
Well, I would say so.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fairly late.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Final thoughts? I don't know. It's
you
just been cool talking.
are self-critical. That's what I got from you.
I mean, that's better than being delusional, right? And thinking you're great when you are not. Which is many Canadians, which is why I dislike it.
But I'm telling you, compared to most of the world, you are great.
I am not great. My situation is okay.
It's a matter of to whom you are comparing yourself. You, as a person, I would say, compared to most of the world, you can call yourself great.
It's just because
And if you are not satisfied with it, well, then become greater.
That is true. That is true.
Make Daisy great again.
Can we? Yeah. But
By the way, is that your real name?
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah. My passport name is my Chinese name.
So what is it?
Okay. It's Zhou Chenxi. Like Zhou is my surname, and then Chenxi is like my name. But in Chinese, like they put the surname first, and then like they just say it all at once. But usually, if I say that name to foreigners, I just say Chengzi because it's easier.
Chengzi.
Yeah. Them to find my name in the list or something. Yeah. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, but it's been.
Would you give your children Chinese names or Western names?
I would probably just give them a Western name for.
Yeah, that's the move.
Just for convenience sake, because my sister was born in Canada, and my parents, I think they wanted to give her a Chinese name, but they just decided not to, gave her an English name. And actually, some of my friends, once they got older, they legally changed their official names to their English names, which is what they always went by. Yeah. But I don't really want to do that. I still, I already feel like I maybe did not maintain my Chinese super well. Like, I can't read or write so well. I can speak, but
Why would you need it?
why would I need it?
Yeah, you have English.
What?
That's
But
more than enough.
being more multilingual, being closer to my roots, I suppose, is always good. No?
You always sounded like you would have some type of New Year's resolution that you are not really keeping up.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you know how many times I've attempted to learn X language or like improve my Chinese or
Yeah, but
start exercising or
I
start
think
studying
it's-
regularly?
I think it's your own psychological pressure, because nobody is forcing you to think about these things. It's just that you think society wants you to do those things, or your family maybe.
No, I just want to be a less useless human.
Well, that's a good way to look at it, yes. But I'm telling you, you are not. So keep it up,
Okay.
right?
Thank you.
If you feel useless already, then yeah, of course you can just do more and feel less useless. But yeah, I mean, you are in a good position from what I can see.
I don't know. I just think I should be using my time more productively, like.
So what is the thing that you feel is unproductive for you that you do regularly?
Okay, well, for me, like right now, just traveling and like meeting people, like, and, I think I've learned a lot from just speaking with you and stuff, and like the other people I've met is not unproductive, and it's also something I enjoy, but usually in like throughout the school year at least, go to class and don't listen. I just like sit there and rot because it's mind-numbingly boring for me. And then, go home. I'm tired from going to class, even though I didn't do much. And, low self-discipline and willpower. Okay, and then I don't end up pursuing any of the interests or like self-improvement things that I would like to. So, and then I just end up like sleeping or watching TV or,
Do you like
fooling around.
Do you like your fellow Canadian Jordan Peterson?
He's a professor at my school.
Really?
Yeah, at a U of T, yeah. I agree with some of his views. I know he has a lot of idiotic things. I think one of his students, I spoke to them at like some school event, told me that he doesn't believe in global warming, so I was like, okay. But I think he has some valid points with other things.
I think he might not be believing in the fact that humans cause global warming.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay, I don't know.
Because usually it's not the debate whether or not the climate is what it is. I mean, you can see for yourself what the climate is, right? But I was actually recently speaking with on another episode about this, but I don't know why. But yeah, I was also saying, it was a Pakistani who was living in Brazil. Yes.
Okay.
And he was sort of he was doing his PhD in Austria. Yes. And he started speaking so left idealist sort of way, and so I asked him about and so we came to the topic of global warming, and I said, yeah, look, dude, nobody in their right mind will argue against making the environment a better place and polluting less. There's no debate about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to attach the narrative to we have to reduce pollution because it causes global warming. No, you just have to reduce pollution. That's it, right? And so yeah, I don't know why, but sort of always the selling point is we have to reduce pollution because it causes global warming. And so those people who are generally inclined to question things, they like to question: does it really cause global warming? Because there's no debate that pollution causes trouble in the environment, but does it really cause so? But it's a nonsensical debate. Take that part off and just focus on: should we reduce pollution? Should we reduce pollution? Yes, of course. Nobody's for pollution. Nobody. So nobody's lobbying for pollution, right? So yeah. How do you reduce pollution? That's the question. And take that global warming stuff out of the window. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether humans, either that pollution causes it or not. pollution is bad, so get rid of it as much as possible.
Oh, okay. Wait, that's interesting. Wait, so do you agree with? Do you like Jordan Peterson overall? Like, because you brought him up?
I've only seen him a couple of times on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Uh-huh.
I'm not really bothered by the topics he's speaking because he's generally speaking about troublesome Western problems.
Like a liberal hellhole things?
Well,
Because Canada is definitely...
He came to prominence for the pronouns.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but
yeah.
honestly, I'm just sitting there and what? I don't understand what them. I understand the topic that they are discussing.
But
that
you're like, why
some
is this
person
a thing?
some person wants to be called another way, and I'm just I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if I'm too old-fashioned to say if I'm too old-fashioned to say you are a woman, right? Hey, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
I can be old-fashioned in that way.
Yeah.
If you say to me now that you identify as a fairy, you're still a woman to me, right? So it's not about your beliefs or your feelings. It's about got it, registered.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, because
And that's what he's basically saying. Plus, if he has, because he was agreeing that he would actually address you as you want him to address you, which is further than I would go.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't go there. If you would ask me to call you he, him, right? I would literally say you get lost.
Okay.
Just no, we are not going there, right?
Okay.
It's not because I'm too insensitive. It's just because
It's ridiculous.
There's no real limit to this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sort of because I've seen people delusional too many times because I've been, for instance, a prison guard, right? And I remember different psychological profiles, different type of behaviors, right? And it's just it's the problem is when you look at those some of those inmates, it's the problem is you believe your own lies. You just want the reality to be different, so you make up the story and you start believing that story, and then it's just so everything's possible, everything goes. There's no real limit to the imagination. So
I agree. Like with Jordan Peterson, when you ask me if I like him or whatnot, I do agree with most of his views on like gender issues or affirmative action and stuff.
See, that's weird that's even a thing because, well, that's probably one thing that you would like in Russia.
Yeah, I mean, Europe is in general more conservative, let's say, in that sense.
Well,
right?
it's not conservative. It's just that we don't have time or the will to get into this. All right, good, just no, and that's it. But in wealthy countries, you need to make up your problems.
Yeah, that's what
Two little problems, you just make them up.
Yeah, that's one thing that bothers. That's another thing that bothers me about Canada is that, like, I would call it a liberal hellhole in that, like a lot of just the issues that Jordan Peterson addresses and like why are those even such a big problem? Like, I don't think they're worth that much of anyone's time.
Well, I guess
like third wave feminism things, I don't enjoy either. Those are very big.
I guess the things that he addresses is that people don't really communicate the way they used to, which might have, on a long-term basis, might have a negative effect on society's well-being. Because he stresses a lot the
free speech,
the traditional family as sort of a conditions that establish a well-formed human being, right? So if a child has only one mother or one father or what have you, it puts him in some sense in risks. But I'm not sure if he explains those risks. But what he's saying is, let's say a child needs a parent that is one male and also female, so he can actually learn and from their mistakes. His mistakes, and he has those role models and sort of that. But then again, I would say, but role models are what you make, not what is. So I could make my role model anything.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio can be my role model.
Yeah, like it's up to the individual, right? It's
You choose your role models intentionally, maybe initially not intentionally, but still, at one point you can make your role model intentionally. Somebody you admire. There's no real need to have a father or a mother per se, but that's what he stresses.
Yeah.
That traditional upbringing has a sort of a nice effect on sociological processes, that the people get accustomed to each other, that they can actually interact with each other, they can raise families with each other, and I guess that's what he's concerned about. Because these things that we have X amount of genders and X amount of pronouns and X amount of what have you, just reduces that stability in the fabric of society.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually.
And I guess it's nothing more to him. So I was really surprised that he got the fame that he got, because I don't dislike him, but I always feel that the things he's saying is like something that just a Russian grandmother would say.
Oh yeah.
Just sure, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's like an academic, right? Like an academic, and I think in Canada nonetheless, and I don't think people in those kinds of positions generally speak out or like provide their opinion on anything like this.
Yes,
that's against the general societal.
In him, yes.
So that's why, yeah.
But he's more famous in America, I guess, than in Canada.
Maybe because there are more Americans. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe more outlets for him, because I remember him seeing on the Joe Rogan podcast. Then afterwards he was even on Bill Mayer's show. He's hit it big.
Yeah,
because he's now a millionaire, I think.
Probably.
He sells books.
Yeah,
he sells tickets to his lectures.
Talks, yeah.
So again,
although
good.
Although I think the whole thing did take a toll on him in a way, because he got a lot of hate and like death threats, and he had to take a year or two off teaching because people would go to his lectures and disrupt him or maybe cause.
See, that's the weird thing, because and Joe Rogan speaks about it pretty much all the time, about the radical left being probably just mentally ill. Because it's not really far-fetched to say that people who are socially awkward, it's not because they are just plainly original and different. It might be the case that they literally have some hormonal imbalances, some mental issues, because it's not that uncommon for people to have mental issues. It's that whether or not people can disguise those, whether or not they take medications for those different things. And so that's one of the biggest problems, I think, nowadays, because you cannot know who is really crazy.
Interesting.
I'm telling you, because only the actions can provide you with the answers about a human being, and that's what I got from working in prison as well. It's just because if you look at a person, it's just, he could be anybody, right? And then you see his actions, how he speaks, how he behaves, and so, all right. Now I see there's a problem, because literally some of those people, even though they seem normal, but it gets to a point where you see, no, it doesn't make sense. That's not logical. But they don't see that. They feel that they have all the answers, right, for in that moment, and just say, wow. Even though you clearly now showed him what would be the correct answer, 2 + 2 makes 4, not 3 or 5, right? They still just don't register, and say, it might be something with their brain. Well, it's a condition.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
So,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, not everybody can be equal. So and that's the thing about Jordan Peterson, that he's basically just saying common sense that a babushka would say.
That a babushka would say,
Yeah, at least that's what I feel. I've never heard him speak about something that just some old ladies in Russia wouldn't say as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes, that's the way things are. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It should be that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I guess it's just North America is particularly radical. Like, there's a lot of radical
I think
leftism there.
look.
which is why it's just like, whoa.
I think that's if I'm not mistaken, Asians are not really politically correct.
What do you mean?
Well, Asians.
Oh, in the way they speak,
No, generally,
generally.
they are quite direct in their manners.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Oh, just like with
They're not
racist
politically.
comments
They're
or
not
what?
diplomatic in their everyday dealings. They're not politically correct, right? So.
Oh yeah, that's probably true.
And so I like. I think that you could be the one good combination, right? You have a sense of political correctness, but you could also be more direct, because you're Asian. So that's what they do. You get the exception card, or the Asian card, right? You get the Asian pass.
Okay, so I can make certain comments because
I think so. I honestly think so. Yeah. Because it's if you are ingrained in the culture from I don't know how many generations, right? As most Americans probably are. Yeah, then maybe sometimes the political correctness seems fair enough. But when you look at it on the outside, it's just too much. Sometimes just too much. Stop this. Stop it. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if those people who are in academia don't really pay attention to it or don't really voice their opinion because they are afraid of losing their job, I call them dumb people.
Mhm.
I call them dumb people. You should be concerned about having always options and alternatives. So that's the way you can always tell somebody who deserves it to screw off. Just honestly, if you want to live with integrity, have options.
Mhm.
And nobody can get you. If somebody threatens you with, "Oh, you will lose your job," good. I was looking to pay more attention to my other income fields, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm mostly concerned is what is the threshold when you should say, all right, now let's focus on this. Keep up this in a certain equilibrium, but yeah, let's focus on these things. Let's develop these things. I'm not sure about those. What is the threshold?
Mhm.
But other than that, yeah, most of academia, if you ask me, pretty dumb.
That is very interesting, considering
It can
you're
be-
pretty much an you're
Well, hardly.
a PhD.
I mean, I don't.
You're
I'm
somewhat
not,
of an academic, no?
well, I've done research.
Hmm.
You could call me a researcher,
Okay.
right? But academic would be somebody who's lecturing, a professor maybe.
Like,
Somebody who goes to literally to the institution to provide some education, right?
mhm.
And I probably could do education, but I think if you need something to know, look it up. You might find it, right? Without me,
Yeah.
it's not like it's too hard.
Huh. Wait, so did you feel like you were wasting your time when you were going through all those years of study then, if you could just look things up instead of...
And when it comes to my research, no,
No?
because I always chose topics that I was interested in
Uh-huh.
and that I knew nobody basically knew anything about.
Okay.
Because I can make up original stuff when it comes to those things pretty easily. Because I consume so much information that to take bits and pieces and synthesize them into one new whole, let's say, research paper, it doesn't really take a lot from me.
Okay.
It maybe takes time, but yeah, I have it figured out by a fair amount of time. And then it's just you format it the right way, you edit it the right way, but yeah, to have that original thought, it's not that difficult. You just get inspired, you just get some resources together, and it always comes, never fails.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to do, and the reason why I wrote about the financial sector was because 10 years ago I saw a lot of grown people acting very foolishly.
That's when the financial crisis.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I thought, yeah, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be somebody who loses their mind because some market value dropped.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what you should be. I thought it literally was a time when I thought people get grown up and then they become smart,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I figured out no, people get grown up but they don't become smart. They have to actually work to get smart. They have to put some effort, but usually just people like to choose the easiest, the path of least resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that's what I saw. That was enough for me to think, no, thank you. I might start reading more books.
I'm gonna dip. Yeah.
And so yeah, and it's still a feeling of all right. There might be more. There should be more. It's not possible that this is the whole picture,
Mm-hmm.
right? But yeah, I mean, then you just compare it to sometimes. All right, so what's the time limits? What's the other constraints? What are the also other interests and priorities? And so it's try to balance them in different ways. But yeah, the financial crisis definitely left a mark on me,
Mm-hmm.
and the way I see other people.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if you honestly think in a way that most people, well, people have to prove me that they are worth listening to, that their advice is valuable, that their competence is there,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't take it from face value. Just oh, you're a human being, very nice. Now I'm confident in what you are telling me or what you are suggesting to me. Because again, I mean, I've seen prisoners, right? I've seen different I've been a financial auditor where people don't know whether or not they actually were able to, were allowed to do the expenses for the public spending and all different. I have had, I don't know how many, 8 jobs at least, right? So yeah, I've seen different people, different scenarios, right? And the one thing that bugs me the most is just incompetent people and sort of their lack of improving themselves. Because you had the option, you had all those, but you just chose not to. You just chose not to be competent, and yet you are still working in this, and yet you are still doing it, just hoping. People just sit and hope, and that's what I feel. Hoping is not a strategy, right?
So are you religious then?
If you mean traditionally, no. I like to believe that there is some type of designer for the whole universe, but yeah, I'm definitely not concerned with it. If it's not there, so be it.
No.
I just like to find out how humans are, and why they are the way they are, and that's it. And just find my own niche, carve my own path, and run with it.
You'll live a long life because you seem to not give a fuck about certain things and just give many fucks about the things you like.
Sort
and
of.
that you're interested
Sort
in,
of.
yeah.
Well, it's always the case of you cannot be interested in everything. You have to have some priorities, and then just the closest ones, and the daring aspect as well. Because I've literally had some, for instance, sort of bosses who told me, yeah, you're right, but I won't do this. I won't talk to those people. I won't talk to the guys. And so why? Well, because I have a loan and I don't want to lose my job, right? So, all right, I get it. You're concerned with your job and your sort of household, but then again, dude, it's just so. It seems so weak, right? Why would a totally grown-up person put himself in that position to be weak, to be vulnerable, to that much vulnerable? Yeah, and then my explanation is, because people are just hoping. That's the strategy for them. Let's just hope everything goes well, and if not, hope it will resolve somehow.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what my impressions from the past 12 years. So because those were the formative years for me, right? I was graduating the accounting school So that was the time I got into sort of the workforce, sort of the adult life, right? Of bills to pay and responsibilities. So, yeah. And now I do podcasts on the side.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You're living a good life.
Well, I like to believe that Latvia is in the top 5 of the world's countries, the best countries.
Okay.
Again, I think the Netherlands might be the first.
Mm-hmm.
Some Scandinavians definitely.
Only some of the Scandinavians?
Some,
Not all?
yeah. Because
okay.
again, it's a big difference between having wealth and having sort of intelligent wealth. Because I think Denmark has just wealth, but I think there are many people who are fairly lazy, fairly like Americans, right? Or so like those Kuwaitis or whatever, just getting big, getting lazy, and yeah, that's the problem, right? You have your food, you have your shelter, you have to raise the stakes. Otherwise, you just come the complacency again, and then that's not a life. To be overweight and unhealthy, and to put yourself in just unneeded risks. That's not smart either.
Yeah, I actually never thought of it that way because everyone is very all hail Scandinavia, all of Scandinavia, you know. But
Norway.
there are ways to criticize.
Norway is definitely different than Finland, for instance. Definitely. If you would ask me, Sweden is a pretty good place, for sure. But then again, maybe Jordan Peterson wouldn't agree, because they have a lot of divorce, and they have a lot of what's it called? Artificial insemination.
Embryo babies.
Meaning
making babies in the test tubes.
Women are living alone, ordering on the internet some sperm, and just injecting themselves. Yeah. So I think Jordan Peterson was that's my. Well, here's the thing: if the reproduction is the main goal, it gets the job done, I guess. I mean, that's what they do for farm animals, right? That is true. They do it for farm animals. But when it comes to society, right, how to make a human, it's a test. It's an experiment. Nobody knows, right? It might work, but we need to see, because it's not been going on for long, but it's definitely going on. So people will see. But if they make sex robots, right, it's probably over.
It's already a thing, no? In Japan?
Sort of, but I think they are fairly unrealistic still. But if they make totally human-like robots, then it really becomes a demographic problem, right? Because why would a dude try to be disciplined and in shape, right? If he can just be a total glob and have his hot robot at home. That is a real possibility.
Yeah, it's a valid concern.
So I think that's what maybe Jordan Peterson and those type of people like to see the society not going, to not be living an artificial life, because it's fairly comfortable to live it, and now we should make it better in those meaningful ways, right? To have people more connecting with each other, let's say. Because I think even in Japan, Japanese women complain that Japanese men are not that open, not that communicative. But I'm just guessing maybe it's both ways. Maybe the society in general doesn't sort of encourage communication. I don't know. Never been to Japan. Probably don't really need to see it to make my opinion about him. Make good electronics,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
It's a
it
fact.
works in some ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. That's interesting.
Any final thoughts now?
Not so much. Just interesting, you know, like kind of hearing, because I haven't talked to many Europeans actually, and I feel like. Do you think your opinions and mindset is representative of maybe? No.
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm representative of me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Again, I don't look at, let's say, fellow Latvians different than some Germans, some French people. They have to provide me with the evidence that
Mm-hmm.
they are worth my time.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds idiotic almost, but I'm telling you, I've seen people in different facets and different shapes and different behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
I have made my mind up. If I'm true, good. If not, it's on me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to give the same amount of energy to all of the people is physically impossible and rationally totally ineffective.
Mm-hmm.
There are the outliers. There are the people who actually get things done, who stick out of the crowd, who are the power law people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who are the most competent, who most skillful, whatever. So yeah, that's what I'm more concerned about. How to find those people so those could be the ones that I communicate with more,
Mm-hmm.
cooperate with more, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to just take any random person, right, and think that should probably be good. Sorry, it doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
Doesn't cut it.
Yeah. Because your time's too valuable to.
Well,
You
it's
know.
too limited.
Yeah,
so
true.
so it makes it valuable in the
yeah.
moment. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh.
And so that is the reason why I have the podcast option with foreign guests,
Mhm.
right? Because usually there's not much people who travel the way most people here travel.
Mm-hmm.
So it also makes some nuanced profiles, right,
Mm-hmm.
for people in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are, if I would ask you, are you representative of Toronto people? Probably not.
I would like to think not, but you know, it's hard to be objective.
See,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah. But you are a representation of Canada because you come from there. But you are a version of the representation. You're yourself. You are the version of Canada I'm seeing,
Okay.
right?
Am I different from the other Canadians you've interacted with?
Well, they were also really friendly and nice. Again, I'm not seeing Canadians being rude or cold.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they are polite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just civilized, right? Civilized humans.
Yes, civilized people, and I don't think you are actually against that, right?
No, I'm not against being civilized,
But
but
you
I-
are against being too complacent
Yes,
and
and
too politically
delusional.
correct.
Yes, and being like delusional,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah.
but delusional in a matter of grandiosity.
Kind of, yeah, like thinking very highly of themselves when there's nothing particularly fantastic about you or your accomplishments, you know, and being not critical enough of themselves.
Should Justin Bieber feel grandiose?
I don't particularly like him as a person, but I
Wait,
guess
so he's
achieving that,
Canadian.
yeah, but I guess achieving that kind of wealth is commendable to some extent.
So,
But I don't, you know, stay humble. That's, I don't know. I don't particularly like enjoy him as a person, but you know.
well,
Yes.
I'm guessing you don't have anything against him as a person. You are maybe considering his public persona as not being the optimal version.
Yes, but is his public persona, I mean, the fact that he wants to present himself that way is already making me think badly of him, even if perhaps his
But maybe
True.
it's not him. Maybe it's the drugs.
But why would you have let yourself get hooked onto such things?
Because people are weak.
So he's
If you
weak.
get too fast into too much fame and too much money and too much influence, drugs become a thing.
Right, but then there are plenty of famous, wealthy people who don't.
Who were world famous at 11 years old.
Right, but
don't have
there are child stars who
You don't have a
turn out
maturity if you don't have the same phase
right.
to go through as a regular mature person. So your maturity will come somehow, but not in a traditional way.
Right, but I think there are, stars who start at a young age who turn out fine. And it's definitely possible to turn out fine.
It's definitely not Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Natalie Portman turned out quite well, and she started out quite young.
Alright, but she's not really that famous. Let's be honest.
She's very famous, no?
No, well, I see your point. Of course,
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
some, but I don't know if she's even an A-level actress. She's not getting asses in the seats.
She's not getting what, sorry?
Asses in the theater seats.
Ah,
She's not the lead attraction.
maybe it's been a while, but I think...
What's
maybe
her
she peaked
most
a while.
famous movie? Probably The Swan.
Black Swan?
Yeah.
The Swan.
Black Swan? Was it Black Swan?
Yeah, Black Swan.
All right, yeah. But I think Mila Kunis was the attraction there.
What was she showed quite briefly.
Because she was, in that time, very, very, very well represented in different kinds of movies. She was the hot star at that moment, the trend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wait. I always thought of Natalie Portman as quite big. I think she's also
It's like saying Hilary Swank is quite big.
Who is that?
See?
What? No, not. I think. Yeah, she's definitely not Justin Bieber level fame.
Yeah,
of
And
course.
she's not Scarlett Johansson fame.
Is she not?
No, not at all.
Because I don't.
If she-
Scarlett
if she-
Johansson. Well, it's more the type of movies that you want to be associated with, right? And I don't.
Which type of movie?
Because Scarlett Johansson is very big, just popular.
Yeah, that's what
Things.
I mean. That's what I mean.
Not necessarily critically acclaimed films,
All
but
right, but then take Jennifer
big
Lawrence. All right,
Jennifer
take
Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. So she's critically acclaimed and she is fairly famous.
Okay, true. Yeah, wait, but the point is that I think Natalie Portman turned out fine considering she also was a child star model, whatever. Definitely not to the degree Justin Bieber.
Did Michael Jackson turn out fine?
He definitely suffered, but he acts as a good human, which I don't think.
Depends on whom you ask, I guess.
What are you talking about? His pedophilic allegations and stuff?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know.
Well, of
What?
course, there might be some ill intentions and just somebody trying to get some money from false accusations.
Yeah.
But it's not like he wasn't providing some reasonable doubt about himself. It's sort of like that. So other than that, it's difficult to explain the way I see it, but I would imagine that the correct word would be shortened. The maturity. It's sort of stunted.
It's they don't have a childhood.
Yeah,
whatever.
the maturity cannot be there because the progress was stunted from either fame, wealth, whatever. But I don't know why. I haven't checked it, but sometimes people say that lottery winners spend their money fast and then end up almost like the same before. If I don't know if that's true, but if it would, be true, then it would prove a point in having not the capability of actually in the first develop and the second sustain some type of level. And so yeah, if you don't have the prerequisites, who's to blame? Maybe society, maybe your talent, because it happens with a lot of people, right? They have some type of attractive skill or some type of trait. So people are offering them anything. The world is their playground, and once that skill or trait is not so much in demand, they just fall off, right? Because they have nothing else. They haven't developed as a person. They just developed some type of trait, and once that is not even popular anymore, then that's pretty sad for them. But for society, you just see another Instagram model.
Yeah. It's fair. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. You probably need to sleep, right? Like,
Well,
we
I'll
keep
be
going
going
off
to
on
sleep,
tangents
for sure.
every
I'll be
time you
going to sleep.
ask about final thoughts. So
So any final thoughts now?
well, that's just it's been nice talk. Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Yeah, I think so.
I think so as well. Thank
Yeah.
you, and let me press a lot of stops.
A lot of stops.
Yes, 1, 2.